adaptations from our most beloved books tend to be a hit here in Hollywood at this day and age. And that's not a bad thing, but adaptations also seem to be hit and miss. So today we're going to talk about my first thoughts on Dune Prophecy. Stay tuned to find out whether I liked it, loved it, hated it, or me, whatever. Stay tuned, that's coming right up here on Drew's Book Reviews. Good day, and welcome to another episode of Drew's Book Reviews. So today we're talking about the new TV series on HBO, Dune Prophecy. And I just wanted to share some of my first thoughts on this new TV series, based upon Brian Herbert's books from the expanded Dune universe, from the Sisterhood of Dune as I understand it. And of course, you know the routine, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. So the thing with adaptations is sometimes they're really bad. Sometimes they're amazingly well done and so good. Like Denis Villeneuve's Dune movie adaptations were amazing and probably some of the best we've seen in recent history. Sometimes they're kind of mad. There's some good things and there's some bad things. I feel that way about Wheel of Time, for example. I thought that as a fantasy TV series, it was really good. I think it has all the right elements for Wheel of Time based on what we know from the books. But some of the way the plot was executed, the characters' backstory and development, were really big miss with the fan base, and understandably so. So sometimes it's a bit of a mixed bag, like it is with Wheel of Time. Other TV series have done incredibly well with their adaptation. I remember The Expanse, for example, was a great one. Today we're going to be talking about Dune Prophecy and my first thoughts on this Dune adaptation. I've mentioned it before on this channel. We're doing a buddy read on the Dune series down in the Discord as well. I absolutely love the Dune universe. Frank Herbert's works are just amazing and just incredible in every aspect that it touches, speaking to so many different ideas in philosophy and politics and ecology, and just there's so much to the Dune universe that Frank Herbert has created. So let's talk about Dune Prophecy and my first impressions of this series. So one of the things I really liked about right at the beginning of episode 1, it kind of goes in and gives you a little bit of the backstory, referencing the Butlerian Jihad and where the division between House Harkonnen and House Atreides first started due to the aftermath of the Butlerian Jihad and what that was and how it came to be. So this is an important aspect of the Dune universe and the Dune lore that was vital to establish, I think, for new fans coming into the series and those who have read the books. I think it was a good refresher and reminder of the history of the Dune universe and the Butlerian Jihad. I loved how that was put in there. Like I said, I think that was really great for new people coming into this series who maybe haven't read the books to kind of understand that and how that led to the establishment of the Sisterhood of Dune, or the Bene Gesserit as they've come to be known. And as we start to see throughout the first episode as well, we start to see a bit of the division and politics that are mixed into the Sisterhood and the Bene Gesserit themselves, as we see the characters get established in their leadership, where they came from and how they came to be there. I really enjoyed that aspect of it so far as well. I think it's establishing a great setting and a great feel and vibe to the series as a whole. Overall, I'd say I'm hesitant to say that this is a fantastic adaptation yet, but I have to say I am impressed with the first episode so far, because there's a lot that was really well done with that, and I really enjoyed that, whether it's setting up the political division within the Bene Gesserit, establishing the history there. With that, there was also a lot of references to things like Dune and Arrakis and the Fremen, and I'm really looking forward to that, and I really hope that this series expands upon those aspects of the Dune universe, because this is so important to the Dune universe, Arrakis and the Spice and the Fremen. So there's a lot of references to that, and while we see some imagery from Dune itself, we have yet to visit the planet of Dune. One thing I do know is that the Bene Gesserit were key and vital in establishing the religion of the Fremen within the Dune universe. This is important to establish in this series, and I really hope that they do that, because as we see from the first episode, it's the beginning of their manipulations of the politics and the genetic breeding program that they have. This is not spoiler stuff. This is well established in the Dune canon, these things, and we see the beginnings of the establishment of this breeding program, what led to their decision to start this in the first place. And we know that they have a heavy influence on the Fremen of Dune in establishing the religion. So I really hope that with these little drops, these little references to the Fremen of Arrakis, we eventually have the series move on to Dune and Arrakis itself, as we start to see the establishment of the Fremen religion guided by the Bene Gesserit, as established within the greater canon of Dune. I really want to see that happen, and I hope that that happens. As I understand, this series is based on the source material from the Sisterhood of Dune book by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson, I believe. Anyway, that's my understanding of it. Now, it's been a really, really long time since I've actually read the Sisterhood of Dune. So honestly, I don't know how well so far, I don't remember how well so far it may be actually following the plot execution with the characters and that kind of thing within the book, The Sisterhood of Dune. But I can say that, as I understand, it is inspired from or taken from that book and the content there. And how well it's done so far as a sci-fi TV series, I could absolutely say I think this is a great start for the Dune Prophecy series. And I just hope that it continues to execute well and becomes a classic and is done well overall. I hope that the majority of the fan base in the end is happy with the adaptation. With that, as we know, sometimes these adaptations start really great. Game of Thrones is a great example of that, and then ends with a really, really poorly. Again, Game of Thrones is a great example of that. Sometimes these adaptations could start really poorly, like Wheel of Time, where everything has been changed so dramatically it becomes more like, you know, a great fantasy or sci-fi TV show, but really more of a fan fiction than an adaptation from the source material, if that makes any sense. Let's hope we see some improvement on those other series, but overall, I think the Dune Prophecy so far has gotten off to a great start. I really liked one scene, and maybe this is a bit of a spoiler, so warning up front if you haven't watched the first episode yet. So I'm putting spoiler warning right here to let you know now. You could kind of skip over this part if you want. Was when Valia Harkonnen first uses the voice for the first time, mentions it as something she's been working on, a skill. None of the other Bene Gesserit know about this. They don't understand this skill or how it was developed, but Valia uses it for the first time. That was just an awesome scene. Valia, the character, as she's portrayed in this, I found it very interesting the way the character is portrayed. To me, at least on first impressions, she doesn't really seem like the best leader, to be honest. She definitely has that power-hungry desire to take control of the Bene Gesserit like she has in that first episode. And like I said, maybe this is a bit spoilery when I say that, but I think in the long run, it's not really so much of a spoiler, as this whole episode really is about establishing the series, establishing the beginnings of the Bene Gesserit and the beginnings of this storyline. And those are important aspects to establish it and how these characters got to where they are going to, where they came from. And that's all pretty important, I think. I have to say, Desmond Hart's mind powers in this series, I won't say what happened on this, but Desmond Hart's mind powers that he displays within this first episode, I thought was like, whoa, I don't remember reading that in any of the expanded universe. I mean, again, it's been a really long time, so it definitely doesn't feel out of context or it doesn't feel non-Dune with those mind powers, but I think that definitely when we first see him using those powers, it's like, whoa, who is this Desmond Hart guy? Wow. And that was just a lot of fun to see, and I'm looking forward to see how his character develops further. I really love the actor that they got to portray him. He was also in Vikings. His name's skipping my mind at the moment, but I know the actor that portrayed Desmond Hart was also in the Vikings TV series as well. And I just thought the character had, for the personality type, the way the character was engaging with others, he just seemed to, his look just fits so well with that, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Overall, as far as my first thoughts on Dune Prophecy, I think the first episode was just a great episode of sci-fi TV. I think it was a great entry into the Dune universe as far as TV or movie adaptations go. I think it established the feel of the Dune universe effectively and well in that first episode. Whether this series ends up being a hit or a miss, a fantastic adaptation or not, remains to be seen. And, you know, like I said, I feel like this is an adaptation of the Dune universe and the history of the Dune universe, referencing source material from the expanded universe, but not necessarily a direct adaptation of the books themselves from the expanded universe, if that makes any sense. I know a large part of it is taken from the Sisterhood of Dune, but again, it's been a long time since I've read it, so I'm not sure how well it's really adapting that book specifically or just drawing from it. Either way, I think this is a great entry into the Dune canon so far. I think it was a great first episode, and we'll see how the season progresses, how the series progresses, and whether I still feel that way by the end. So here's hoping. One thing I can say I'm happy about is I don't feel like it completely altered things so drastically like some other series have done in that first episode, that I could say that it was a bad start. I think this has got a really good start. I just hope it stays that way, because us fans of the sci-fi and fantasy, we can be pretty picky about our adaptations sometimes, though I find I tend to be easier to please than some of my counterparts in the fan base. But overall, great start to the Dune adaptations, and hopefully this will spin off additional Dune adaptation series at some point, because there's so much that we could do with the Dune universe. I would love to see a movie or a series, for example, going all the way back to the original Butlerian Jihad. I think that would be great at some point as well. Maybe we'll get it someday. But anyway, those are my first thoughts on Dune Prophecy from the Dune universe and the new HBO series. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, until next time, keep on reading. Bye.